Hello everybody. In this video we'll try to understand what happens when Rahu is in the 8th house in the sign Scorpio. So basically what is 8th house in the Vedic astrology? See, in Vedic astrology 8th house represents transformation. So 8th lord or the planet in the 8th house is responsible for transformation in your life. And 8th house also represents mysticism. It represents secrets and hidden knowledge that you have in your life. And 8th house is the representation of sudden events. That sudden events can be related to gains or losses. And 8th house also denotes deep psychology. Very deep psychology can be represented by 8th house energy. And 8th house also represents your inheritance, your longevity, occult studies, tantric knowledge, sexuality, healing also to some extent can be represented by 8th house. And what is Scorpio here? The sign Scorpio has some significance in this context. Scorpio is a watery sign and also it is a fixed sign, right? And Scorpio energy is very intense. It's very deep, secretive. It's very magnetic and emotionally powerful. Scorpio energy is always emotionally powerful. Of course, it is ruled by Mars, and even you can say in the modern astrology or even in the ancient astrology, if you observe the behavior of Ketu, Ketu is another ruler for the sign Scorpio, not only Mars. If you say Mars is a main ruler of Scorpio, then the co-ruler is Ketu. So Scorpio is the zone of mystery. It's the zone of emotional extremes. It's the zone of death and rebirth energy. It's the zone of taboos, we say, right? Scorpio is the sign of taboos, right? So that's the fundamental energy of Scorpio. And what is Rahu? Rahu is the north node of the moon that we know. And Rahu represents your obsession, your desire. And it's Rahu's desire, it's just not a desire, it's something like, you can say it's an unquenchable hunger that you have in your life, And also Rahu is connected to foreign lands. Unconventional things are connected to Rahu, and Rahu is also kind of, the taboo, we say, and it's the innovative energy. Rahu always represents the innovative energy. And Rahu is the illusion that pushes us to grow beyond our comfort zone. It always pushes you to grow beyond your comfort zone. That is Rahu fundamentally. So when Rahu is sitting in the sign of Scorpio in the 8th house, it's something like here Rahu is entering, Rahu is in one of the deepest houses and one of the deepest signs. So this generally makes a person drawn to mysticism, occult sciences, tantra, astrology. These are all things. So the naturally sense, the natives naturally sense what others cannot see. So it's very interesting if somebody has Rahu in the 8th house, that too in the sign of Scorpio, because these natives can very naturally, they can sense what others cannot see. And that means, they can understand emotional and psychological mechanisms very deeply. That is the fundamental energy we can feel here. And their life, if you observe their life feels, that person's life feels full of transformations. It's something like sudden rises, sudden falls, sudden breakthroughs, sudden endings. Their life can feel like some kind of constant rebirth cycles, right? So this is a very intense energy. I would see here. I can see clearly here, and And see, after going through this kind of uh, sudden falls, sudden rises, all these things, the native would not fear about the darkness. That's nothing for them, because after going through all these rises and falls, it's something like their emotional power is also a kind of, it has already, it would reach a stage where they do not even fear darkness. So they want to explore what others avoid as a taboo subjects: death, trauma, past life karma, spiritual depth, whatever. They do not fear. They do not fear. And the emotional intensity, you know, if you want to feel the emotional intensity at peaks, it's here. See, they feel everything very, very deeply, but rarely show it. But they feel everything very, very deeply. They have magnetic aura, and generally speaking, Rahu in the eighth house people, their eyes are very, very penetrating. This is the general observation, because their aura is magnetic and their eyes are penetrating. It's a very, very general observation. But the most important thing is they feel everything deeply. Of course, they rarely show it, but the emotional intensity is it's something like it's very, very unique. And the kind of research and investigation talent that they have, see, they are excellent in psychology, they are excellent in surgery, forensics, crime investigation, tantra, spiritual healing, any deep research field. They are very, very good in that. Even finance, insurance, hidden knowledge domains, whatever, they are excellent in this. And control and power that they have, their soul journey involves learning how to surrender ego. That is the fundamental pattern I can observe. The soul journey of these people, that involves how to surrender ego, how to transform fear into power, and how not to manipulate or be manipulated. This is the pattern I generally observed in most of the people, with Rahu in the eighth house, that too in the sign of Scorpio. How to surrender ego? You may not know, but you ask the person having Rahu in the eighth house, he will tell you. So, another important thing is how to transform your fear into power. This one, of course, they might not get this knowledge at the early stages of their life, but yes, after this roller coaster things, after this continuous, this sudden falls and sudden breakthroughs and sudden endings, they are the experts in this area. You can ask them how to transform fear into power. They can clearly tell you at the mid of their lives, right? Around 30 to 40, in between. In that age, they are the masters of this one. And even they can tell you how not to manipulate, you know, and also how not to be manipulated. They are excellent in this area as well. So, the control and power pattern that can be observed in these people. So, whenever I actually see or get a chance to observe the horoscope of a person having this particular placement, I am very much interested in this particular kind of placement, because it's a kind of unique personalities. By this placement alone, they can become some unique personalities. This is a powerful placement, because you see, it's a Ketu's area. Scorpio is a Ketu's area, but as Rahu is present here, so the kind of ups and downs you see, and the kind of teachings that they might have got is completely, unique. And just imagine a deep sea diver, a deep sea diver The diver is not a normal person, deep sea diver, because it's the Scorpio area, right? So the deep sea diver is generally not why he has become a deep sea diver, why somebody might have gone to the deep sea, because is not satisfied seeing the surface of the ocean. So generally see everyone swims near the shore, but what this person is doing, the deep sea diver, is generally he dives into the darkest areas. He dives into the most pressurized parts of the ocean, right? So when a person tries to dive into the darkest areas of an ocean, a very it the possibility is the person can discover some hidden treasures, because the other people cannot know, because the other people are very much interested to uh, just to swim near the shore. But this guy is Rahu in the 8th house in the sign of Scorpio. He wants to touch the deepest areas of life, right? So if you just want to feel the energy of this particular guy, this particular person, this particular native, you just imagine a person who wants to dive deep into this kind of areas of the ocean. So generally, whether he is interested in discovering the hidden treasures or not, he would get them, but most of the times he would be interested in discovering hidden treasures of the ocean. But in that darkness, there are treasures, but at the same time there would be some dangerous things present, obviously. So this placement, I would say, whenever a wrong placement is present, you in astrology you should not just say this is a wrong placement. When a person is having Rahu in the 8th house in the sign of Scorpio, the person is unique. That is one important thing. But it's something like he is diving deeper into the darkest areas of the ocean, and there are two possibilities here. One is he would encounter some dangerous creatures, another one is he would encounter some hidden treasures. So if the person is fearless, if the person is wise, if the person is very much trained, then he brings back that treasure for sure. That's why when Rahu is in the 8th house in the sign of Scorpio, just check other placements, other planetary placements, right? Just check Jupiter. How is his Jupiter? How is his Mercury? Because he is wise enough or not, he is able to get some training related to this or not, right? So everybody has ups and downs in the life, but some people by that ups and downs learn a lot of things, and by learning those things they become the superheroes, they become the greatest people in their lives. You're getting it? So you cannot just say Rahu in the 8th house in the sign of Scorpio is a bad placement. You cannot say that, but it is going to give the kind of training, the kind of ups and downs in the life that they become the emotional, the kind of emotional power that they get, the kind of emotional intensity they have is in the next level. They can become the greatest personalities. God has given the chance to become the greatest personality, but check whether they are wise and fearless or not. If the person is reckless, if the person is not wise enough, of course he gets swallowed by the depths. He would be encountering those dangerous creatures, right? It is that placement. You just imagine, even in the even in some movies I observe, there would be some hidden treasure somewhere. So many people try to get it, but they are not able to get it. They get killed by something in the path. But the other person, the hero or whatever you call him, a person gets the treasure, overcoming all the difficulties in the path. How? Everybody, see, all of these people have Rahu in the 8th house only, in the sign of Scorpio only. But if you are able to cross everything, if you are wise enough, if you are trained enough, if you are fearless enough, if you are able to understand the lessons that the life taught you, then yes, if you are able to balance yourself emotionally, if you have that emotional power, yes, you will become the victorious person. You will become the greatest person that the whole history of humanity has ever seen, I would say. Getting it? So it's not a simple placement. If you take it as a negative placement, that's a very wrong thing that you're doing, right? And let's imagine, you want to feel this. If you want to feel this energy, just to understand this energy, let's say, let's imagine a young traveler, right? And this young traveler, he is traveling to different places of the world, and one place he heard rumor of a mysterious cave. So people are saying that there is a mysterious cave here, and this mysterious cave has a vast treasure, right? And as it has vast treasure, it also has a terrifying spirit saving that particular treasure, right? So generally, what everybody would do, most people would be frightened, and generally most people would be frightening by this kind of treasure, and also they generally stay away from it, right? But this young traveler I'm talking about here, this young traveler, he felt irresistibly drawn to it. He wants the treasure, kind of. So with just a lantern, he entered the cave. And the deeper he went, the darker and more intense it became. And he encountered a lot of fears, loneliness, doubt, pain from the past memories, whatever. But he did not run away. He did not run away. What he did, he confronted each and every fear. And each fear turned into a jewel of wisdom, you can say, let us say, right? And finally, he reached the treasure chamber, right? So it's something like as I would say, this treasure is what? This treasure is what? You may ask. So he would become very rich. This treasure is himself. His treasure is actually the self, because this is 8th house. This is the house of mystery. It's a mysterious house. It's the house of transformation, right? The treasure is not the outside treasure that you are seeing. It is inside. It's inside. It's something like you're conquering your own darkness. You're getting it? So it's one of the greatest placements, I would say, right? So just imagine, this darkness is within you, and when you are overcoming the darkness, you can see yourself, and the world is yours, right? But here, see, And also I would tell you in other videos, I generally tell the remedies like is Rahu is here, or it's malefic or positive, negative, and then finally you need to do this or that. But here I would say it's not to suppress Rahu. It's not at all about suppressing Rahu for this placement. It's about channelizing Rahu. It's about channelizing this deep energy correctly, right? So you better practice meditation that goes inward. So we generally these days very so many people are talking about some kind of vipassana meditation, right? So vipassana meditation, that's so the meditation that goes inward, kind of, right? So and also study psychology, tantra, astrology, deep spirituality. This is your area. You can be excellent in these areas, and also work on healing your childhood wounds, or your emotional wounds. Work on it. You can do that, right? And spend some time near water bodies. You can just feel the energy. The rivers and lakes are good enough, right? And also I do not want to say how many phases of the rudraksha you need to wear, but I would say research on rudrakshas. It can be with 8 phases or 11 phases. I would not tell you because it needs the complete examination of your horoscope. So you research yourself or consult. So it's a kind of consultation I would do for that. And I would tell you, never manipulate anybody, because that will ultimately teach you a lesson. And do not get into some tantric shortcuts. You can practice tantra, you can understand the balance and emotions and the control power and everything. So do not do this kind of tantra or any tantric shortcuts. I would not recommend. Even if you are into this black magic kind of things, never ever try to do that. And even emotional revenge, do not do it. It's just waste of time. This is what you need to overcome in your life, this emotional revenge or any kind of addiction. It can be alcohol or anything, right? So addictions, how to control and channelize that energy, how to utilize that energy for your well-being. And hiding emotions to the point of emotional numbness is another observation here. So these people generally do this, hiding emotions to the point of kind of emotional numbness. Do not do it, right? So one important thing I want to tell you, this is a special placement. The remedies are a bit special. Light a lamp on Amavasya silently for your ancestors. That's one important thing. And Mahamrityunjaya mantra, that is another important thing that can strengthen your transformational energy, right? And Rahu mantra you can chant. That's a very generic remedy. But Mahamrityunjaya mantra and lighting a lamp on the day of Amavasya for your ancestors is another important thing, right? So that's a very unique placement, I would say, right? So something like I would tell you, the deeper the sorrow, the greater the awakening, we say, right? So you're getting it, because see, out of suffering, what we can see, out of suffering you can see the strongest souls, right? The most massive characters that you see in the history of times, they are the strongest souls. They have emerged. Why? How they have emerged? They emerged out of suffering. It's just not, somebody would not become a massive character just like that. After suffering only, one can become a strongest soul, right? So you're getting it. So once you overcome the kind of sudden things that you're seeing in your life, you would be a great personality. You can be a great personality in this area. That's what I can tell you. But never ever in your emotional the situations, never take a decision to go for some tantric shortcuts or black magic practices or manipulating somebody or a kind of controlling somebody, right? Or emotional revenge. Do not do this. Alcohol addiction, if you have, better avoid it. That's what I can tell you. How you utilize this secretive, massive, mysterious energy is now the ball is in your court. Just try to channelize this energy. That's what I can tell. Thanks for watching this video.